From the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight on WYLN News. I'm Gary Perna. With sub-zero temperatures blanketing our area early this morning, firefighters were called out to the LAUREL Mall for a fire in the Boscov's department store. Crews got the call just before 4:30 this morning. When arriving on location, they saw smoke coming from the corner of the building near the Regal Cinema site. Crews found fire in a storage room, and the sprinkler system kept the fire from spreading. According to Chief Scott Katsishian, the storage room sustained significant fire damage, and that corner of the building, on both the upper and lower levels, sustained water damage. The chief said firefighters used a number of large fans to remove smoke from both levels of the building. The cause of the fire is under investigation, and the State Police Fire Marshal was called in today. The chief said the company lost 3 sections of hose due to the extreme cold weather, and they needed heavy equipment to pry the hose off of the ground, which froze. And when firefighters tried to roll the hose up, it cracked. Firefighters from Valley Regional, Freeland, Sugarloaf, Hazleton, and McAdoo, along with Dorrance Township, all assisted Hazel Township this morning. The mine fire that has been burning for over 40 years is now out. That's according to DEP. Wednesday night, officials from the State Department of Environmental Protection and the Bureau of Abandoned Mines and Reclamation told a handful of residents at the Tresco-Hosey Hall that the fire in Jeansville was extinguished.
The DEP can definitively say that we see no more evidence of any fire burning at that site, on the active and on the abandoned side.
The meeting only took about 20 minutes, but Township Supervisor Joe Clark said this has now put an end to a long 6 years.
It said that it was quite a rude awakening when someone says you have a mine fire, and it turns out to be true. But again, DEP and all these guys did such a great job. They never refused anything we asked, and thank goodness, we can say tonight that the fire's out.
The extinguishment consumed 45 million gallons of water. 1 million cubic yards of material was excavated from the site, and an additional 5 million cubic yards was taken out.
There's a little bit of work. Clearly, the contractor, Atlantic Carbon, is going to continue to mine for coal. We're going to be reseeding and planting trees to mitigate the areas that were impacted by the excavation work. And then we're going to work with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Agency to move forward on how to lessen the impact of the bat habitat on site. Some of them were disturbed during this project. Moving forward, we want to work with that agency to make sure we mitigate the impact of the bat habitat and allow them to live freely on the site.
The fire was detected when Hazleton Shaft began mining there in 2012. Crews used boreholes to determine where the fire was at. A total of 80 of them were dug in the area. The temperature in some of those boreholes reached as high as 500 to 700 degrees. DEP's Colleen Conley said that residents of the area have dealt with a lot over the last few years and should be commended for it.
This project could not have happened without DEP and BAMR working together with local officials, but the local residents were wonderful. Anytime there was a problem, there was an issue, they called us, we came out and took care of it. Very little complaints from the residents. When there were complaints about odors or air, the DEP came out and monitored the air, but the residents were very cooperative. This impacted their lives with the truck and the truck traffic and the work going on there, and we just wanted to thank the local residents for their help and support during all this.
Supervisor Joe Clark said it was a team effort.
Great accomplishment. Congressman Morletto deserves a lot of credit. Senator Ducek was on top of it from day one. So everything worked out and everybody worked together. The senator always talks about government working together. So we had federal, state, and local government on this project, and you see the fruition of that.
Homeowners need to be on the watch for frozen pipes during these freezing temperatures. Hazleton City Authority has gotten many calls this year so far and is worried people are not properly protecting their water meters through basement piping. Randy Cahalan stressed the importance of heating homes in the basement.
Meters that cost the customer a good bit of money, because there are meters If they freeze and bust, we charge for them. And then if it happens again and they're not protected again, the cost doubles. So it can be very expensive if you don't protect your meter. Then also you're out of water, usually for a while until the meter's either replaced and the lines thaw out.
Windows and doors that are cracked open need to be repaired so that there's no draft in any basements.
That's the main thing, is just being sure that the basement is heated, but you can use insulation and insulate the lines, insulate around the meter itself. It's just common sense things to realize the lines freeze when it's real cold, and you got to do whatever it takes to protect them.
Installation can be found at your local hardware store, as well as heat tape if the basement has inadequate heat for the lines. Today, Governor Tom Wolf announced his plan to restore critical Pennsylvania infrastructure. The governor's plan calls for $4.5 billion to restore the state's infrastructure. The only problem is that the governor's plan relies on the state implementing a severance tax, which the state legislative has refused to approve over the last 2 years. The plan calls for the state to invest the money over the next 4 years in significant high-impact projects throughout the Commonwealth. The plan includes funding for high-speed internet access statewide, investment in storm preparedness and disaster recovery, money to help counties and communities with projects like paving roads, along with more money for demolishing of blighted buildings and properties, and transportation projects. A Schuylkill County prison correction officer is now out of a job. At a special meeting Tuesday, the prison board fired Keith Whitting after more than 20 years of employment as a result of the board's vote. But board members did not say why exactly he was being fired, just that it was personnel matters. Also, during the 20-minute meeting, the board voted to hire 3 additional part-time correction officers pending their passing of physical examinations. The Hazleton Area School Board held a special Capital Projects and Building Committee meeting Wednesday night. The board is now looking at building a special education building. At the meeting, board members discussed building that new building to house special education students that travel outside of the district for classes. So far this year, the district has spent about $797,000 in tuition for other schools. District officials say the new building would have 8 classrooms, a nurse's office, a therapy and cool-down room, and a cafeteria. The board asked their architect to come up with drawings for the new buildings. They were also given the go-ahead to complete drawings for the new 9th grade wing addition to the high school, which could cost the district upward of $55 million. Coming up on WYLN News, funding for the Hazleton City Authority. Plus, do you want to serve in the city? We'll explain. But first, let's take a look at that forecast outside. Well, tomorrow, it's going to be a lot warmer than today, a high of 20, and that's saying a lot. But we get back down into those single digits at night at 7. Saturday and Sunday not looking too bad. We'll start to get warmer as the weekend progresses. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I had a very minor fender bender tonight in an unreasonably narrow fast food drive-thru lane. Don't worry, I have everything handled. I already spoke to our Allstate agent, and I know that we have accident forgiveness, which is so smart on your guys' part. Like the fact that they'll
4 weeks without the car.
Okay, yep, good night.
With accident forgiveness, your rates won't go up just because of an accident. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Visit your local Allstate agent, the McNeilis Agency in Hazleton at 1092 North Church Street, or in Hometown in the Hometown Village Square.
Express Care. Walk in and you walk into the region's most trusted health network.
It's time to say goodbye to 2018 and hello to 2019 during the Start Something New sales event at All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're celebrating the new year with new savings. Buy a new 2018 Jeep Compass Sport 4x4 with heated seats for only $23,715. Or buy a new 2018 Ram 1500 Crew Cab truck with Ram Cargo Management for $33,552. That's a savings of over $9,400. It's the Start Something New sales event going on now at All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
The Hazleton City Authority received a $1.5 million loan for future projects. Tonight, WYLN's Julia Wiegand has more on how that money will be spent.
$1.5 million was approved by the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority Board to loan to the Hazleton City Authority. These projects are not only estimated to create 20 construction-related jobs, but will rehabilitate several water storage tanks in Luzerne and Schuylkill counties.
Do several projects, one in Schuylkill County. We're going to paint a Park Place tank, and then do touch-up painting on several tanks in Hazleton area, and then also renovate 2 pump stations, one at Drifton, PA, and one at Barnes Run over by Humboldt. And then we also have for leak detection equipment in the project. It'll allow us to do a much better leak detection program.
These are major projects for the HCA, who has funded numerous projects through PennVest since the 90s, which is funded through the state.
We've been able to really keep our rates at a reasonable rate and do a lot of work in the Hazleton area because of that of PennVest, which is a state organization that provides funding to municipalities and authorities like us.
HCA would like to thank Senators John Udicik and David Argall for their help with acquiring funds through PennVest, as well as Tara Toohill and Jared Mullery for always assisting the authority. The estimated completion of these projects are hopeful for the end of this year. Reporting for WYLN News, I'm Julia Wiegand.
Officials in Hazleton have been informed by a resident about noise coming from the Norfolk Southern train yard just behind Broad Street. For the past 3 months, Fred Kulik said that the noise has becoming increasingly unbearable to live with and has asked leaders for help. According to Kulik, the train engines idle continuously on weekends ever since last November. It is the first time in 50 years, he said, that he has had an issue with the rail yard. Last year, the city solicitor filed an information complaint with the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission. Norfolk Southern's public relations manager said that the rail yard has not altered its operation in years and that officials will do an evaluation about the noise. The PUC said that if that works, the problem should then be resolved. Hazleton residents who are interested in applying to serve on a board or authority in the city of Hazleton have until tomorrow to apply for one. So far, 18 people have applied for the seat on boards that are overseeing the Greater Hazleton Joint Sewer Authority, the Hazleton City Authority, and the Hazleton Health Services Authority. Councilman Jim Perry called for the application process for interested residents earlier this month. Council hopes to fill the seats on the Joint Sewer, HCA, and Health Services Authority at their next meeting, which is coming up in February. The seats have 5-year terms and will run until January 2024. Applications are still available online at hazletoncity.org, and you must be able to complete that and return it by tomorrow, which is Friday, 3 p.m., February 1st. The Wyoming Valley Nurses Association and Wilkes-Barre General Hospital have come to a tentative agreement on a new union contract. Members of the Nurses Association voted yesterday to ratify a new 3-year deal, which expires on January 31st, 2022. It includes a pay increase, tentative to retain and recruit nurses. The hospital, which is owned by Community Health Systems, and the union will address patient care concerns related to nurse staffing levels through a council that will meet on a regular basis. Since the new contract was tentatively approved, the nurses' strike planned for February 13th has been canceled. Coming up on Girardville's News Choice in Community and You, we learn about Sherlock Holmes play. Plus, can you escape this room in Tamaqua? Well, our Julia Wiegand gives it a try. She's all the details ahead. Stay with us.
fast, consistent internet speeds, TV your way, and reliable phone service. All from the one provider who also lives here. Service Electric Cablevision. Connect with us.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice, everyday low prices, plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton. Everything to make your house a home.
Hey, it's Jay, the general manager of Blaze Alexander, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Mazda of Greater Hazleton. Christmas is gone and the new year is upon us. It's time to clear out all remaining models. Rebates up to $10,000. Interest rates starting at 0% for up to 72 months. New Ram leases starting at $299 a month. New Jeep rebates up to $7,500. That's unheard of. With our low price guarantee, you can be assured you're getting the best deal. Maximum values for your trade and credit for all. Check us out on the web 24/7 at blazehazelton.com. Susquehanna Boulevard, Route 93, Hazleton. See you real soon.
Today, DM Performance Works in Nuremberg has a brand new season that is starting, and what a way to start. Not only is it a stellar performance as they always give, but this time, this man wrote it.
Hi.
This is Bill Amos. That's John Shugart. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the show is Sherlock Holmes and the Scarlet Avenger. Now, you didn't actually, it's adapted, correct? Mm-hmm. Explain, what does that mean?
It's adapted from the novel, A Study in Scarlet, which is the first full novelization story that Arthur Conan Doyle wrote before he wrote, The Hound of the Baskervilles and all the short stories and stuff like that, and the other books that followed.
How long did it take you to do this?
Believe it or not, it took me about 3 years to write this.
3 years, 3 acts. There you go.
There you go. I guess that makes the second year the shortest of all. But yeah, it is a 3-act play. And I've always just been a fan of Sherlock Holmes ever since I was a young kid. I'd watched the movies, I'd read the books and the short stories and stuff like that. And as everybody I'm sure is, I was introduced to Basil Rathbone's Sherlock Holmes first.
Right.
And then you find all these other actors who played the part. You see how he's interpreted over time. Jeremy Brett is one of my favorite actors to ever play Sherlock Holmes. I'm a huge fan of that series, which ironically never adapted this one, but did some of the other ones. And I'm a huge fan of origin stories too, and this is an origin story. This tells the story of how Dr. Watson meets Sherlock Holmes, how they become the team that they are. And
so you're the writer.
I wrote. I wrote.
Are you directing as well?
I'm co-directing it actually, because I also fell into the part of Dr. Watson as well.
Ah.
Yeah.
Now where does that leave John?
John plays Sherlock Holmes.
I am Sherlock Holmes.
And what do you think about all this? Have you been a fan?
I've been a huge fan of the books. I remember as a kid, I read every Sherlock Holmes book. I got the whole collection. I haven't watched a lot of the films. Like, believe it or not, I've never seen Basil Rathbone as Sherlock Holmes. I've never seen Jeremy Brett. I've seen 1 or 2 movies. I've seen Christopher Plummer. I saw Tom Baker, of all people, play Sherlock Holmes, and a few others. But as an actor, of course, I don't really want to watch other people's portrayals of the role, because it has to be our interpretation.
And what is your interpretation of him in this whole, since you've had so many different ones to look at?
My interpretation of Sherlock Holmes?
Of Sherlock and how all of this comes about. Did you add anything to it, or keep it pretty true to?
I kept it as true as I could to the book, as it would relate on a stage.
It's not a musical.
No, it's not a musical. No, it's not a musical. You love your musicals, don't you?
It's because DM Performance Works does so many good shows that we always think of musicals, and you never know.
Yeah.
There could be a duet between Sherlock and Watson, no?
I mean, there is a Sherlock Holmes musical. I haven't heard good things about it, but it's out there in the world. I haven't seen it. I've never even heard music from it, but it's not this. I know this is strictly an adaptation of the book. I tried to remain as faithful to the book as I could because, I believe in being faithful to source material. I think if you spin off too far from what you're adapting, if that's what you're doing, if you incorporate so little of it, you might as well just write your own thing, which, I enjoy doing that too. This just happened to be the first thing I ever really written on this scale that is finished, so this is what I'm throwing out there. And it kind of began as a hobby. Like, I just wanted to read the book, I read the book. I wanted to find an adaptation or an interpretation or dramatization of some kind of it. None really exist except for one that I know of in a TV series that is starring Peter Cushing. They boil it down into one 40-minute episode, very boiled down. The episode doesn't go into what happened to precipitate the murder and all the mystery, everything that leads up to why Sherlock Holmes is here.
But that's what this does.
This play does that, yeah.
So we find out how he meets Watson.
We find out how he meets Watson. We follow Watson on this adventure, if you will, learning about the man that is Sherlock Holmes and what makes him tick, and seeing what it's like to live a day in the life of somebody who can look at you and tell you your complete history.
So when the audience comes to see this, and again, John would probably think about this perhaps as he's doing the character, a lot of people come in, they have a preconceived notion. They have a preconceived notion of what he's going to be.
The archetype that is.
Right.
As an actor, there's nothing you can do about that.
Right.
I came off of just a few months ago directing Breakfast at Tiffany's, and I had that same conversation with Jasmine, who played Holly Golightly. That yes, everyone thinks of certain portrayals of a character, and in this case, there's so many, and you have to forget them all. In part because otherwise, you'll get intimidated by the job you have to do. I can't sit there and say, "Oh my God, I'm Sherlock Holmes." I have to become the character.
And you take your cues from what Bill has written.
Right.
And then you're able to go from there. I think it's fascinating, just the fact that it's a local person who has made an adaptation and is bringing it for the first time, and you're going to get to see it. There are performances coming up on February 8th, 9th, and 10th, and again on the 15th, 16th, 17th. Where else can you get a first look at something that, when it moves on, you can say you saw it at DM Performance Works in Nuremberg? John Shugart, Bill Amos, thank you very much. We hope to see you again soon here on Community and You.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Northeast Gold and Silver inside the Churchill Mall is paying cash for gold and silver. Top dollar for silver coins. National currency. Fine and sterling flatware. Stop in or call them at 570-497-4177.
You've seen university advertising. A student like me pitching you the same old ideas. But I'm not gonna do that.
Instead, I'm gonna tell you what you can do with a Penn State degree. You can help anyone. Go anywhere. Create! And with 20 campuses to choose from, you'll always feel at home.
Look, Penn State is amazing, but your best years are just beginning. Come find out for yourself.
An escape room is opening up tomorrow in Tamaqua, but it's only for a limited time. Wyln's Julia Wiegand has all the details.
Think you can escape these rooms in 60 minutes or less?
Raiders Step Up and the Tamaqua Community Arts Center partnered with the Tamaqua Area School District students and administrators, as well as local college students, to create an escape room as students expressed the need for accessible, affordable activities within the community. The Art of Escape Tamaqua will run through the month of February at 602 Pine Street. Teams of 4 to 6 people can register for either of 2 escape rooms.
So we have 2 rooms. We have one room called Escape the Past, which is set up kind of like a 1959 living room. So you're going back 60 years. The second room is Escape the Wabash. For those who live here locally, there is a tunnel that runs under our town called the Wabash Tunnel. And from stories that I've heard, at one time it was kind of a route to get people through the slavery in and out of town. And so we've redesigned these 2 rooms to give people a completely different experience, one in each.
Tamaqua High School Administrator Ruth Gardner led the design for Escape the Past, which has tons of Tamaqua heritage incorporated throughout the room. Escape the Wabash Tunnel, designed by some employees at Lehigh Coal Navigation, gives a tip of the hat to the area's rich coal mining history. Lansford No. 9 Museum also gave items to help decorate the room to meet authenticity.
I really think that this project's exciting because it's a true partnership between an art center, community members, businesses, and also our school district. And so it's really exciting to be able to put this all together and just give people an experience that they might not otherwise have. The cost is only $5, so it's very, very affordable, and we hope families will come as well as children, students, and their friends.
The Art of Escape Tamaqua's grand opening is tomorrow at 3 p.m., and openings will be available Friday through Sunday evenings until February 24th. There are 133 time slots open, so be sure to pick yours up as soon as possible. You can register at tamaquaarts.org or call 570-668-1192. Reporting in Tamaqua for WYLN News, I'm Julia Wiegand.
And Julia did escape, and she made it back here for the news. Staying in Tamaqua, a new restaurant is coming to town, and they know a little something about grilled cheese sandwiches. The Wyln restaurant is opening up a second location here on East Broad Street. The flagship location is in Pottsville. The owners thought it was time to expand. The new site here at 125 East Broad Street was the home of the former Wentz's Bakery. The owners are hoping to have the new location up and running by July. Wyln restaurant allows diners to build their own gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches, beginning with the bread and ending with, well, whatever toppings you can think of. The restaurant also serves appetizers, salads, sides, and soups, and they make some really good food there, and can't wait to have them in Tamaqua. Due to classes being canceled in the sub-zero temperatures, tonight's game of the Hazleton area and Wyoming Valley West girls game has been canceled. The Wyoming Valley West versus Hazleton area girls game has been postponed for now due to no school and it being so cold outside. So everyone gets to stay home and keep warm tonight, and we'll of course keep you updated and posted when our next WYLN game of the night is. That's the news. Remember, you can always get news updates on the WYLN News Facebook page, and stay with us. We'll look at today's weather is next here on WYLN.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600. watching Wilkes-Barre's Choice for news, weather, and live local sports. WYLN, we're your local network.